Richard Presner, Callicoon Center. This town board generally has done a good job managing the budget, taking care of the roads, flood control, and other duties which affect all the people in Callicoon. But with the changes you want in the zoning law, I see a shift away from fairness to the whole town to using a sufficient power to benefit only a few. There is no indication or acknowledgement that the property values for the majority of the homes will decrease, which they will. This is a major asset for most people. Right? If you try to sell your property now, banks will not, the person who wants to buy it, they will not be able to get a mortgage if you're adjacent to gas drilling. That'll knock it out. One of the things that Ohio, which has gas drilling, anybody who has gas drilling on their property, they are required to have insurance to cover their neighbor for any damages, which we don't have here, which we should have. Why is that? Why do I bring that up? Because there is the possibility, acknowledged by the people who study this in Ohio, that you may have your water damaged and your property could be worth very, very little. Another thing, just speaking of the economics, about 3 years ago, when most people weren't aware about gas drilling, I was going to have a big pond put in. I had it all laid out. And I figured, well, why throw good money after bad? If gas drilling comes, what's my 60 acres going to be worth? I think there's probably quite a few people who put off construction because of that. I'll just read here. Does it matter that gas drilling will be bad economically for most towns and people? It sure matters to them. It is the town's responsibility to be honest with them, to tell them what most likely will happen. Just speaking of the economics, the environment that's been covered. Is it okay to be selfish to get yours? Not when it is at the expense of others. The town should tell them the property, we have, I was going to close this with a couple different things. Let's start off with, sadly, I expect that the town board to do what it wants, no matter how much evidence they have to be, no matter how much evidence they have to ignore. And I got to thinking about that. That's probably not true. We have the opportunity to capitalize on a unique situation. PA has gone down.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you.
What?
Your time is up. Thank you. 3 minutes.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Kimberly Day.
Since the election in November 2011, I made the decision to get much more involved in this process. I started coming to town board meetings regularly, on this one, I come to all of these meetings. I feel like I've extended olive branches, I've tried different ways of communicating my views. I thank each of you personally for the service that you've done, as many have here tonight. What's really getting frustrating for me is I'm feeling like it's falling on deaf ears, and I'm getting really frustrated because I don't feel like the wishes of the majority of people who live in this town are accurately reflected in the plan, and continue not to be accurately reflected in the plan. In my view, it's reprehensible that with all the evidence that's been presented from the residents of the town, that you, as the planning committee, have not incorporated it accurately in this draft plan. And I agree with the other individual who suggested, given the importance of this issue, if you don't feel like the existing survey is statistically accurate or statistically relevant enough, then you should, given the importance of this issue, given how controversial it is, you should resurvey the town. Take another, it's taken this long, take another 3 months, survey people properly. And in closing, I would just ask each one of you, when you wake up in the morning, you splash the water in your face and you look at yourself in the mirror, you have to ask yourselves, am I being intellectually honest with the people that I am here to represent in this town by putting that information that you know is representative of how people care so much about this. I am opposed to gas drilling, and I hope you will make that information accurately reflected in the plan as it relates to everyone who lives there.
Thank you.
Wallace Pola. No? Johnson?
Kelsey Bennett, I live in Callicoon Center. I would like to say that as representatives of me, I am not overly grateful. I expect you to do your job. I expect the firemen and volunteers to do their job as well. It's honorable to volunteer. However, if it was me, I would put everything that I had into it, just as I expect you to put everything that you have into your job. To me, this issue seems like an issue of logic. The logic says that to me, that we don't have enough information, period. Now, I agree that it's probably not as bad as it seems, and probably not as easy as it seems. However, if there is one iota of a chance that there's going to be a problem with construction, there's going to be a leakage of chemicals that we clearly do not understand the effects of, if that's going to be a problem, and that's going to get into water, if my land, if what I put into my day, just as I have high expectations for myself, what I put into my day in my life is affected by a decision made by people who represent me, who are supposed to do their job in the same way, sorry is not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. I want to know that it's cool. If that's the case, great. Do it. Make money. I'm glad that that people aren't going out of business, that they can wait, that they just want the money. I want the money too. I have land. Doesn't matter how much land you have. If it is safe and can go on my land, I'm all the time struggling to pay bills. If it goes on my land and it's safe, we'll do it. This is the way that I look at it. No, outstanding no. Fight it hard, because corporations will take a crack in the door and go right through it. No until it's okay. Those two things. Increases property value instantly. People will buy here. Property values will go up. Landowners, farmers who have 400 acres, 200 acres, 500 acres, subdividable plots, 5-acre plots, sell a few 5-acre plots. Make a few dollars until this thing is cool. When it's cool, do it. If it's not, guess what we didn't do? We didn't risk lives. We didn't put our kids, everyone's talking about their kids. Forget about the past. The past is a nice story. It's great. I respect it. It's a story. The future. Does anyone care about the air you couldn't breathe yesterday? No. Does anyone care about the glass of water you could have had yesterday? No. Say no completely. Property values will go up.
15 seconds.
Sell a few acres. Make some money. When fracking is cool, great. Do it. Bring it on. I'll do it. Perfect. Until that day, no, because we don't know. No one in this room knows.
Time.
You don't know. Nobody knows.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sonia Hillman, Callicoon Center. I'd like to ask you to look at the process you went through in writing this plan. I attended one or two of your meetings, and most of them, those were closed, and I felt unwelcome. I wonder if you could rethink how you could engage the citizens in the writing of a plan, which is a look at our future. Most other towns and states and groups that do comprehensive plans involve a lot of citizens along the way. They don't just wait till near the end and do a survey. So I would like you to rethink that process and see if there's not a way, in a very diverse manner, we all can participate with ideas about the future. The plan is about the future. I think we need to think about farming. This plan has this fracking has caused such hardship with me and my neighbors, my closest neighbors, and it is just heartbreaking that it has caused that much. I think we forget that farming is a very hard business, And when we say we support farming, what I mean is we support a land that's productive, that's not there for the few, but it's there for food. And I think the county is turning around on this, and I think we need to do that too. You have failed to move ahead on the farmland protection plan that I served on writing, that Earl Meyer served on writing, and others did. That's been there for more than a year. Other towns have started moving ahead. We need to look at what it means to support farming and actually do something. There are new farmers here. Farming will not be the same, and we have to realize that it's going to have a changing face. We always need to eat, and certainly that's an opportunity for us with markets here as well as in New York City. And finally, I just think, look around at this audience. This is what democracy looks like. And I am delighted to hear my neighbors who are opposed to fracking talk more about why they don't like it and why they want fracking here. I want to know more from them and from you. Why is this going to help you so much? Because after you get the windfall of the money, you pay your debts. Will that make your farm in 3 years a better farm? I need to understand that. And the plan would give us a chance to share those opinions. What will farming do that's so great?
Thank you.
Cindy Geiger. I'd like to say good evening to the members of the Town of Callicoon Comprehensive Plan Committee.
Hold on one second.
Meeting goodbye. Trying to stay. My name is Cindy Purple Geiger. I'm a local dairy farmer. I'm a 7th generation Sullivan County resident, and I am a landowner. I do stand to gain a lot of money from gas drilling. I'm also a Sullivan County legislator, a legislator who unanimously has moved forward because of their concerns with the most important part of all, the health and safety of the residents of Sullivan County. The legislature unanimously voted to set a moratorium on gas drilling until a health impact statement can be delivered through New York State. We also recently passed a resolution to ban the spreading of the waste brine from gas drilling on our county roads. As a landowner, a dairy farmer, I realize the economics. I've lived here all my life. But as a former public health nurse and someone who is severely affected by water contamination 15, 20 years ago in my hometown in Sullivan County, that was proven to be water contamination from a major gas company. My family went through litigation in 2000. In 2002, lo and behold, the gas company had a loophole that we were not able to successfully recoup money to redo the water supply. As a result, my brother and 10 of his friends have MS, and there's many other incidences of cancer. Sadly, the New York State Department of Health 6 weeks ago released its health impact study on that incident. And the headline reads, higher incidences of cancer found in my hometown. There's just too many ifs. And I urge the committee to amend the draft to discourage shale gas extraction, simply based on the chemicals used in the process, the federal loopholes that keep those chemicals a trade secret. Even though I can go online, I can get a list of not chemicals that are in the fracking fluid. I get a list of categories: rust inhibitor, gel propellant. I need a list of chemicals. The risk to our health and our potable water is the most important issue. I went through water contamination.
Any time. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew Geiger.
I'm living in Jeffersonville, and Matthew Geiger, and I live on a dairy farm. And I respect the positions of the board here tonight, but I would also ask the board to consider it from my perspective. I'm a younger generation growing up here locally. I grew up here my whole life. I'm going to college now, I'll be done in a year, and I would like to move back. But look at it from my perspective. If drilling happens here, what do I have to gain from coming back? We know that in the county, tourism is the biggest source of income for our county. Over $250 million comes in a year for tourism in this county. So when drilling comes, is that going to continue to be the source? Or even farming? Farming is almost $250 million as well, agribusiness. Is that going to continue to be the source? Or is the source going to be gas? What do I have to gain from coming back? I want you to consider the future for the younger generation. Why would I want to come back to a place that's drilled for gas wells? Why do I want to come back? What do we have to do?
Thank you.
Susan Trainer?
My name is Susan Trainer, I live at 596 Callicoon Central Road. I've been up here full-time for 13 years. It disturbs me when I drive around our town and see these signs that say, Friends of Natural Gas. To me, that's a very divisive sign. I wonder who paid for those signs. Because natural gas or freer energy is not the point. The point is at what price do we pay for our energy that we consume. I have, for the last 32 years, earned my living by monitoring construction contracts. There's been a lot of government oversight, and I work with contractors every day. Government oversight is normally ineffective, and I have spent 32 years going to pre-construction meetings with contractors where we've laid out, this is the way you will operate on this project. Yes, yes, yes. And in some instances, we go into the hallway and they say, you really didn't mean that. Yes, we did mean that. Those are the conditions of the contract that was spelled out very clearly in the contract documents that they signed. So I don't have a lot of faith in the government taking care of us in terms of health and safety. And I certainly think that health and safety issues versus profit from companies, the profit motive will move ahead, and we need to be careful. I am currently against fracking, and I say currently because I want more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noah Van Swol?
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Noel Van Swol from Long Eddy, and I'm here as president of the Sullivan Delaware Property Owners Association. We represent 5,000 acres of land in this town and the residents on it who are adamantly in support of gas drilling. Let me point out, the Wall Street Journal now says that no oil and gas wells drilled in the United States over the last 63 years have resulted in any accidents or health issues that can be attributed to. I've been polite to you.
Then you said a word.
Okay. And over the last 63 years have resulted in any accidents or health issues that can be attributed to fracking. And every oil and gas well uses fracking technology. That is 1 million wells drilled in that period in total. In fact, fracking has been used in New York State since 1949, using the same chemicals proposed for the Marcellus Shale. These are shallower wells than proposed here, and there has not been one documented accident. Shallow wells would theoretically be more likely to have accidents, yet the DEC maintains that nothing has ever happened. The New York State Farm Bureau actively supports gas drilling and fracking. Do you think the state's farmers want to poison their land? In fact, there is a new billboard on Route 17 between Liberty and Monticello that supports safe gas drilling, which is sponsored by the Sullivan County Farm Bureau. Take a look at it. The comprehensive plan as presented here is objective and fair. It should be adopted as is. This planning board should be complimented for the fine job it has done. You have tremendous courage. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Okay. Committee would, before you all go, committee would like to thank you for coming here tonight and participating in this hearing.